What's up, everyone? I'm Nic Rohloff of the Heat Report. On today's show, we're talking about three players that need to step up on this Miami Heat team if they want to make another run to the NBA Finals. They obviously made it last season before losing to the Nuggets in the Finals in 5 games. But these three guys specifically I'm going to talk about today are X factors and difference makers for Erik Spoelstra and this Heat team. Before we get to those three guys, I need the good vibes to be entered into the YouTube atmosphere. You want the Heat to win the East for the third time in the last 5 seasons and make the NBA Finals once again. Like the video. I expect to get at least 250 likes on this one. So don't disappoint me. Don't disappoint Miami and Jimmy Butler. All right, let's get into the first player on my step-up list, and it is Terry Rozier, the player that Pat Riley traded for just 2 weeks before the NBA trade deadline. And as we know, Rozier's first 2 to 3 weeks with this Heat team were a little bit of a disaster. He was doing some good things playmaking-wise, averaging about 12 points a game, but he was shooting sub 40% from the field and under 25% from beyond the arc. As of late, though, Terry Rozier has been playing much better basketball. He has really found his comfort level with this Miami Heat team. Him and Adebayo have developed some solid chemistry, and we saw him and Jimmy as a two-man lineup on the Saturday game against the Jazz take over in the third quarter and really bring the Heat back from down 11 to up 5 in just that 12-minute span. And if we look specifically over the last 5 games, and I want to make this clear, this video is filmed before the Heat's game against the Oklahoma City Thunder on Friday. So, if you're watching this on Saturday, you could see some different numbers. But between the Portland Trail Blazers game when Terry returned to the game against the Mavericks on Thursday, Rozier's been a different player. 19 points per game, 6-point assists, which has really impressed me. And I want to say that his game against the Dallas Mavericks was so impressive, having 22-plus points, having 11 assists. He really carried that Heat offense at times when Jimmy and Bam played poorly. It's the efficiency for Scary Terry, though, that I want to bring up. I talked about how poor he started with Miami. Well, the last 5 games, 48% from the field and 41% from beyond the arc. That's the Rozier that Miami needs, and that's the Rozier that Pat Riley thought he was going to get when he dealt away Kyle Lowry in a 2027 protected first-round pick to the Charlotte Hornets for Rozier. And if Terry continues to play like this, he is going to elevate this Miami Heat ceiling for this year. Like, if he continues to play like that, you get Hero back, Duncan continues playing well, you have some other guys stepping up, and then Jimmy Butler and Bam show up in the postseason like they always do. This Heat team is absolutely at the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference and will threaten Boston, and honestly, I already think they're better than Milwaukee and Cleveland. We don't talk about that team out in Denver out west, though. We'll just consider the East at least as of now. But let's look at Rozier even more in those last 5 games because his advanced stats paint a larger and better picture for Terry Rozier. His offensive rating is at 114.5, defensive rating at 113. So he's got a positive net rating at 1.4. His true shooting percentage is out of this world at 61.1%. That is fantastic, by the way, because it takes into account free throws, three-pointers, and kind of weights that system to show what is most important. And that's the true shooting mark that I look at in terms of efficiency. And when you're at 61.1%, that is very good. And his usage rate has also went up. That should be as of no surprise with Tyler Hero out of the lineup. But his usage percentage is going up at 23.6, yet his numbers are actually increasing. I don't want to literally draw conclusions from that, but I do find it fascinating that he has gotten more of a role over the last week and a half on this Heat team, and he has been more efficient and actually been a more better basketball player. That is number 1 on my step-up list. If he continues to play like this Heat team will be absolutely dangerous come April. And I want to show Scary Terry some love down below. I should see everybody in the comment section spamming those 2s, because if you want Rozier to continue to play at this level, type those 2s, and everybody should want that. Number 2 is Nikola Jovic. And I hate to beat a dead horse here and be a broken record, as they call it. But Jovic is, to me, one of the most important players on this Heat team. And I know that might sound crazy for someone who's only averaging 17 minutes a game, has only played in 26 games this season, and he's only averaging 6 points per game, right? The thing that makes Jovic so special to me is the ability for him to space the floor and shoot from beyond the arc. Yes, he is shooting 43% from beyond the arc this season, and that is just flat out incredible for someone of his size. And that's the part that really makes him super important in my eyes. When you play Nikola Jovic alongside Kevin Love, alongside Bam Adebayo, because I don't think Jovic is someone who should be playing that center spot as the lone big man. He is a complementary piece to Kevin Love or Bam Adebayo at that 4 spot. He allows us to match up with Boston, with Milwaukee, and Cleveland better. Just think about those lineups the Celtics like to run at times with Kristaps and Al Horford, or Kristaps and Luke Kornet, or Al Horford and Luke Kornet. That's a 2 big lineup. You can match that with Jovic and Kevin Love, Jovic and Bam, Bam and Kevin Love. And if it's a just 1 big lineup for the Celtics, which is Kristaps Porzingis, you can stick Jovic on him because you're not going to be afraid of Porzingis using his weight and size that he doesn't have that much of to back down Nikola. And he is not going to rise over Jovic as well as he can rise over an Adebayo who's only 6'9", or Jimmy Butler who defended him at times at 6'6". You can play Bam as a rover as well. Jovic helps us match up so much better with Boston. Same thing with Milwaukee when they have Giannis and Brook Lopez, and then Cleveland with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley when he returns from his injury. It just gives the Heat more size, but does not sacrifice any spacing. Nikola Jovic is an absolute difference maker for this Miami Heat team. Want to make sure you are subscribed as we inch closer to that postseason run for the Miami Heat. We are, just a month and a half away from the season ending and going into playoff Jimmy Butler mode. We have weekly watch parties for the Miami Heat leading up to that portion. We'll be live, I think, again on Wednesday against the Denver Nuggets. That's the next time Miami plays. Or no, we'll be live actually if you're watching this on Saturday, on Sunday against the Washington Wizards. Excuse me. Hit that sub button and join our playoff push. Final player that I want to talk about today is Kevin Love. And maybe this is a little bit misleading because I don't think Kevin Love has to step up because Love has been terrific all season long, but he is an X factor for this Heat team if they want to make the NBA Finals once again. His absence over the past week or so has been absolutely felt when having him out of the lineup. Who knew that Kevin Love was going to be such a difference maker for this Heat team as a backup center when they just signed him a year and a half ago as the backup guy off the buyout market? But this season, he has been utterly terrific. 9 points a game, 6.2 rebounds, only plays about 17, 18 minutes a contest, but absolutely makes his mark felt in those moments. 35% from beyond the arc. But the thing that really stands out to me is his ability to just dominate, I should say, on the board, on the glass. And he hasn't been that bad defensively either. And I think what we've noticed over the last week when Kevin Love has been out of the rotation with his heel injury and hand issue, well, Thomas Bryant or Orlando Robinson simply cannot play in April, in May, and hopefully in June because those two are getting cooked on a daily basis. I appreciate the effort they play with, and it's not a lack of effort for those two when they're on the court. It's just simply they're not athletic enough and not experienced enough in the case of Orlando Robinson to compete with other bigs and starting guys who just dominate them inside in the pick and roll and get on the glass. Like, the reason why the Heat lost to me against the Dallas Mavericks on Thursday is because they got out-rebounded in the third quarter and the late second quarter, which allowed Dallas to creep back in. Obviously, you're not going to win when Bam and Jimmy combine for 28 points, but the minutes where Adebayo were off the court, you can just see how the Mavericks ate inside and were able to run an elite pick and roll with either Kyrie or Luka. And I'm not saying Kevin Love is going to step in and just be this otherworldly impact defender, but he's so much more experienced and so much better of a fit on this Heat team that it just makes Thomas Bryant and Orlando Robinson look like G League guys and JV players that they cannot be on the court when we're talking April basketball, when everything tightens up and the pressure gets on the team even more. Those are the 3 guys that I think the Heat need to step up and be an X factor for this team to make it to the NBA Finals once again. Rozier, Nikola Jovic, Kevin Love. Name someone down below if you think someone else. I didn't name Jimmy, Bam, Duncan because those guys are so good that you know and need them to step up either way. These guys are kind of on the outer cast. That might not be talked about enough. But also like the video because I want to get 250 likes to get the good vibes flowing for the Heat to make the NBA Finals once again. So like the video.